It's 11:40 at night. The lights are off. The house has finally gone quiet. And then you hear it. Slurp, slurp, slurp. Your best friend is curled at the foot of the bed, licking your ankle like it's the last thing on earth worth doing. And you smile in the dark, because that's love. That's what everybody says. But 10 minutes later, it's still going. Slurp, slurp, slurp. And a small voice in the back of your head asks a question you've probably never said out loud. Is this still love? Or is my dog trying to tell me something? But what if I told you that your dog's tongue is one of the most honest communication tools in your entire house, and that almost nobody is reading it? What if I told you that the same exact behavior, the same slurp on the same ankle, can mean 4 completely different things depending on one detail most pet parents never notice? And what if I told you that once you learn to spot that detail, you'll be able to tell the difference between "I adore you," "I want your attention," and "please help me" in about 10 seconds, without a single test, without a single dollar? Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Ben Carter, your neighborhood veterinarian, and I need you to know something right up front. Licking is one of the most common things pet parents ask me about, and it is almost always the last thing they ask about. It comes at the very end of the appointment. Their hand is already on the doorknob, and they turn around and go, "Oh, and Dr. Ben, this is probably nothing, but she licks me constantly, like constantly. Is that weird?" And I always want to say, please come back in and sit down, because that "probably nothing" is very often the most useful sentence in the whole visit. You just handed me a diary entry your dog wrote with her tongue. So here's what we're doing today, my friends. First, I'm going to show you why "it's just kisses" is quietly costing you information. Then, I'm going to give you my Lick Decoder. 3 questions that turn confusing licking into a clear answer. And then, we're doing the fix, in 2 steps. What you can do tonight with things already in your kitchen, and what you change over the next few weeks so it doesn't come roaring back. If you find this useful, hit that subscribe button on your way through. It's how I keep making these. And honestly, grab a notebook, because Chapter 3 has numbers in it, and you're going to want them. Now, let's talk about the enemy. And the enemy today is not a disease. It's not a product. It's a sentence. It's just kisses. Here's the thing. That sentence is not stupid. It's not lazy. It's actually correct. Most of the time. Most licking really is affection, or taste, or habit. And because it's correct most of the time, it becomes the default. It becomes the setting your brain runs on. And a default is a beautiful thing right up until the moment it's wrong. Think of it like the check engine light in your car. 90% of the time that light comes on, it's something small. A loose gas cap. Nothing. So after a while, you stop looking. And eventually, this is the part that gets people, you put a little piece of black tape over it. Not because you're careless, because you're tired, and it's always been nothing. And the tape works beautifully. The light is gone. The problem is not. "It's just kisses" is black tape over your dog's check engine light. And I want to be really clear here, because this is where the guilt starts sneaking in, and I won't allow it. No guilt in my clinic, only education and love. You have not been ignoring your dog. You've been doing the opposite. You've been loving her. You interpreted the licking as love because it usually is love, and because you love her back. That is not a failure of attention. That's a success of attention pointed at the wrong question. You weren't watching the wrong dog. You were watching for the wrong thing. So let's fix the question. Here's the reveal, and it's simpler than you think. A lick is not one behavior. A lick is a multi-tool. It's a Swiss Army knife with 4 blades folded into the exact same handle. And from the outside, All 4 look identical. Blade 1 is social. This is the real thing, the one you think you're getting. Puppies lick their mother's mouth. Adult dogs lick the faces of dogs they trust. It's a greeting, it's a bond, it's you're mine and I'm yours. Absolutely, genuinely love. Blade 2 is taste and information. Your skin is salty. Lotion is interesting. That spot on your hand where you ate a sandwich 3 hours ago is, to your dog, a full documentary. Your dog's nose and tongue work as a team. Licking is reading. Blade 3 is attention. And this one is on us, my friends, in the best possible way. Your dog licks your hand. You look down. You laugh. You pet her. Congratulations, you just paid her. She filed the receipt. Dogs are exceptional accountants. If licking reliably produces eye contact, talking, and touching, licking becomes a job with excellent wages. And Blade 4. This is the one we're here for. Blade 4 is self-soothing. When a dog licks, the repetitive motion helps settle their nervous system. It's a self-comfort loop. It is, in the most literal sense, your dog's thumb-sucking. And that means licking can be a symptom. Stress, nausea, a stomach that feels off, a joint that aches, a tooth that hurts, something in the environment that changed and nobody told her about it. Now, here's why this matters so much. All 4 blades come out of the same handle. The tongue looks identical. You cannot tell them apart by watching the lick. So stop watching the lick. Watch the context. That's the whole trick. That's the Lick Decoder, and it's 3 questions. When, where, what changed? Let's take them one at a time. Question 1. When? Social licking clusters around events. You walk in the door. You wake up. You come back from the store. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. In the end, comes on its own. Symptom licking doesn't care about events. It happens at rest. It happens at 2 a.m. It happens in the middle of a nap for no reason at all. Here's my rule of thumb. Love has an off switch. Distress doesn't. Question 2. Where? Affection is aimed at you, your face, your hands, whatever's closest and warmest, and it moves around. Distress licking is aimed at a target, and it stays there. One paw, one flank, one patch of the carpet, or, and please write this one down, the air. Air licking, lip smacking, big exaggerated swallows over and over, like there's something stuck. In my experience, that specific picture is very often a stomach saying, "I feel sick," and it is one of the most commonly missed signals I see. Question 3. What changed? Dogs are pattern animals, living in a world we redecorate without warning. New baby, new job schedule, moved the crate, roommate left, different food, fireworks last weekend. If the licking is new, something upstream is almost always new too. Dogs don't develop compulsions out of thin air. They develop them out of pressure. Now, I want you to actually do something right now. Pause this video if you need to. Look at your dog. She's probably right there. And just ask, is she licking right now? If she is, ask the 3 questions. When? Where? What changed? That's it. You just ran your first decode. Let me give you the pattern I see over and over, because this is the classic story pet parents describe to me. Picture a doodle. Let's say she's 4. And picture her owner, a woman who is doing absolutely everything right. Great food, long walks, adores this dog. And she tells me the licking started about 2 months ago. Constant. Hands, wrists, ankles. Sweet, right? Except she mentions, almost as an afterthought, that it's worst in the evening and that her dog also licks her own front paws while she's lying down. And then, at the door, hand on the knob, she says, "Oh, we moved in March." There it is. That's not 4 blades. That's blade 4 wearing blade 1's coat. A dog under low-grade invisible pressure found a way to self-soothe, and because the self-soothing landed on her favorite human's hand, it looked exactly like a love letter. It was a love letter. It was also a request. And here's the part I love. The fix in a case like that is rarely dramatic. It's usually boring, cheap, and fast. So let's do it. Step 1. The outside. Tonight. Here's the science, and I'll keep it simple. A self-soothing loop is a groove. Every time your dog runs the loop, the groove gets a little deeper, like a footpath across a lawn. You don't fill in a footpath by yelling at it. You fill it in by giving people a nicer path to walk on. So we're not stopping the licking. We're giving the nervous system a better job. The correct way is what I call the 3-minute swap. When the licking starts, you don't say no. You don't pull your hand away. You don't make eye contact and turn it into a conversation. Because remember, eye contact is money. You calmly stand up and you hand your dog something better to do with that same tongue and that same brain. Here's the exact protocol. Take a lick mat or an upside-down silicone baking tray. Smear on 1 to 2 tablespoons of plain, unsweetened yogurt for a dog under 25 pounds, or 2 to 3 tablespoons for a dog over 50 pounds. Put it in the freezer. 15 minutes is enough. Overnight is better. When the licking loop starts, put it down and walk away. That's it. You've just given your dog 8 to 10 minutes of the exact same soothing motion, aimed at something that isn't your ankle. If yogurt doesn't agree with your dog, or if you'd rather not use dairy at all, the budget alternative is a splash of plain bone broth frozen into an ice cube tray. 2 or 3 cubes, no more, in a bowl. Or, honestly, a cardboard egg carton with a regular kibble scattered inside and the lid closed. Costs nothing. Works shockingly well. Now the vet warning, and I need you to hear this one clearly. If you're reaching for peanut butter instead of yogurt, check the label for xylitol, which is sometimes hidden under the name birch sugar. Xylitol is genuinely toxic to dogs, even in tiny amounts, and it's in a lot of healthy and low-sugar peanut butters. Read the jar every single time. And if you're using bone broth, it must be made without onion or garlic. Onions and garlic are toxic to dogs, and almost every store-bought broth on the shelf has both. Read that label too, or simmer plain bones in water yourself for 4 hours and skim the fat off. And one more. Introduce only one new food at a time. If you add yogurt and broth and sardines all on Tuesday, you will be cleaning up diarrhea at 3 a.m. on Wednesday, and you'll have no idea which one did it. Then, and this is the piece people skip, add a sniff walk. 10 to 15 minutes, once a day, ideally in the early evening. Not a fitness walk, a boring walk. Long leash, no destination, and your dog decides where the nose goes. Sniffing is one of the fastest natural down regulators a dog has. 15 minutes of nose work tires a dog out more than an hour of fetch. And unlike fetch, it doesn't leave them wired. So that's the outside. That'll take the edge off within a few days. And for a lot of you, that's most of the way there. But this only fixes the outside. Now we have to fix the inside so it doesn't come back. Because here's the uncomfortable truth about the 3-minute swap. It's a better path across the lawn. It is not a reason to stop crossing the lawn. If the pressure underneath doesn't change, the groove comes back the second you stop refilling the freezer. So, step 2, the inside. 3 things, and you don't have to do them all. First, predictability. This is the single most underrated anxiety medicine on earth, and it's free. Dogs don't need a busy life. They need a legible one. Feed within the same 30-minute window each day. Walk within the same hour. Wind the house down at roughly the same time each evening. Your dog cannot read a calendar, so a repeated pattern is the only way she knows what's coming. 2 weeks of a boring, repeatable rhythm does more for a licking loop than any gadget I can sell you. And I'm not selling you one. Second, a real job. 15 minutes a day of thinking work. Scatter her dinner in the grass instead of the bowl. Hide 3 treats under 3 cups. Teach 1 new word. That's it. 15 minutes. Chronic licking is very often a brain with nothing to chew on, and a bored brain will always find something. Better it finds a cup than your wrist. Third, the gut and the mouth. Because remember Blade 4, nausea and pain live down here. Emerging research suggests the gut and the nervous system are in far more constant conversation than we used to believe, and many vets now pay serious attention to digestive comfort in dogs who lick compulsively. So, a teaspoon of plain kefir or plain yogurt per 10 pounds of body weight once a day, started slowly. 1 or 2 sardines packed in water, not oil, not brine, once or twice a week for a medium dog, half that for a little one. And a tablespoon of plain canned pumpkin, pure pumpkin, not pie filling, which has sugar and spices in it, if her stools have been unpredictable. And open your dog's mouth. Look at the back teeth. A painful tooth can drive licking, drooling, and lip smacking, and you will never, ever see it from the couch. Now, and this is the most important part of the whole video, so if you've been half listening, come back to me here. There is a line where my advice ends and your veterinarian's begins. I need you to know exactly where it is. Please book a real appointment if you see any of these. Licking one spot on her own body until the hair is thin, the skin is pink, or there's a wet, raw patch. That's a lick granuloma forming, and once it starts, it's genuinely hard to unwind at home. Air licking, hard swallowing, or lip smacking that comes in episodes. I want a vet's eyes on that stomach. Licking that started suddenly in a senior dog, or licking one leg or one hip while also moving stiffly. Pain until proven otherwise. Compulsive licking of floors, carpet, walls, or concrete. Licking paired with any vomiting, diarrhea, appetite change, or weight loss. And any licking that seems frantic, that you cannot interrupt, or that has started waking her up at night. And if your dog is already on medication for anxiety, allergies, or itching, please keep giving it exactly as prescribed. Medications like the modern anti-itch options are genuinely life-changing for dogs who need them, and nothing in this video is a reason to skip a dose or swap in yogurt instead. Everything I've given you today lives alongside your vet's plan, not instead of it. Take this video to your appointment if it helps. Say, Dr. Ben had me tracking when and where. Here's what I found. Your vet will love you for it. I promise. Okay, let's put it together. Here's your battle plan. Step 1. Stop watching the lick and start watching the context. Run the Lick Decoder. When, where, what changed? 3 questions, 10 seconds. Step 2. Keep a 7-day log. Just a note on your phone. Time, spot, what happened in the hour before. 7 days of that is more diagnostic information than most dogs ever get, and it costs you nothing. Step 3. Tonight, do the 3-minute swap. Frozen lick mat. 1 to 2 tablespoons of plain yogurt for a small dog, 2 to 3 for a big one. Check the peanut butter jar for xylitol. Check the broth for onion and garlic. Step 4. Add a 15-minute sniff walk in the evening. Step 5. Make the week boring and predictable. Same feeding window, same wind down, and add 15 minutes of nose work a day. Step 6. Know your red flags and call your vet when you see one. And now the part where I let you off the hook. You don't have to do all of this tomorrow. Please don't try. Pick just one thing from this video. 1. I'd vote for the 7-day log because it makes everything else obvious. But pick whichever one you'll actually do and let the rest wait. My friends, listen. The fact that you're still here, watching a video about dog licking at whatever time it is where you are, proves how much you love them. And trust me, They know it. Your dog has no doctor, no lawyer, and no voice. She has you. You are her only advocate. And the only tool she's got to tell you something's off is a tongue and a hope that you're paying attention. So, question of the day, and I really want to hear this one. What's your dog's name, and where does she lick you most? Hands, face, or ankles? Tell me down in the comments. I read as many as I possibly can, and honestly, the ankle people and the face people are two completely different tribes, and I want to see the numbers. If this helped, hit that like button. It genuinely helps this channel reach more pet parents and protect more dogs. Subscribe if you want to keep learning this stuff, because we're just getting started. And share this with a friend whose dog licks non-stop and who's been laughing it off as just kisses. You might just change their dog's life. And here's what I want for you. I want it to be 11:40 at night again. Lights off, house quiet. And I want you to hear absolutely nothing, because your best friend is sound asleep at the foot of the bed, with nothing left to ask you for. Give your dog a gentle scratch behind the ears for Dr. Ben. Stay safe, trust your instincts, and I'll see you in the next video.